this video we shall discuss about RBI and banking in India. So RBI full form is Reserve Bank of India. What is the specialty of this RBI? Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of India. Reserve Bank of India is the central bank of India. What is the meaning of a central bank? See, actually every country needs to have a central bank. Why a central bank is necessary? Because with the necessities and transactions increasing in the world, as the goods as well as services production is increasing, and for the sale of the goods and services transactions are very necessary, and to carry on such transactions a transparent, autonomous and a authentic and authoritative organization is necessary, and every country needs such a organization. So an autonomous, authoritative, maybe government or a shareholding private running, whatever it may be. By legal it is declared as an organization that has all the powers to control, regulate and to carry on the operations of money transactions between the public and the institutions or within the public. Such an organization is called as a central bank. So such a central bank is Reserve Bank of India for India. First, let us understand what is the necessity of the central bank. See, actually in the past necessities were fulfilled through a system of barter system by exchanging required goods and services. And these necessities in the past, when fulfilled by barter system, a mutual exchange of goods and services is carried on. But that barter system lost its prominence, and with more and more necessities increasing, as there is a necessity of an alternative which may measure the value of a particular good or service, led to the discovery of medium of exchange. So this invention, medium of exchange, is nothing but money through which we can measure the value of a particular good or service. So money has become a very important medium of exchange in measuring the value of goods and services. See, money is not a directly consumable one. Money gives the power to buy goods and services. So we can say that money is giving purchasing power to buy goods and services. So how this money is created? See, we are calling a piece of paper with a denomination of 1000 rupees and with the sign of the RBI's governor as a 1000 rupee note. How we are saying that it is a 1000 rupee note? We are giving the value to this note, and thus we are saying it is money. How it has been assigned some value? A piece of paper or something which is announced or declared by an authoritative institution through a law as some money or currency of a particular denomination can be called as money. A piece of paper which is announced as a currency of a particular denomination by a government or an authoritative organization or entity through a law is called money. So anything which is announced as a currency through law is called as legal tender money. That means something has been assigned a value and it is declared as currency through a law, and such a currency is called legal tender money. So money having value by law, that is legal tender money. Money having value by law is called as legal tender money. This legal tender money is obligatory for all. Obligatory in the sense, maybe we may not like it as currency, but since it is by law, it is obligatory on our part to accept it. Obligatory means law is forcing us to accept. So that is obligatory. So money has been assigned value and it is obligatory by law, and that is nothing but legal tender money. Thus money is invented. Now usually when we say there is some valuable product, everyone will run behind that. Now money has been assigned some value. Obviously we will run behind this money. And moreover, it has been already declared as the medium of exchange. That means this money helps us in buying something or selling something. So now it has become the center of attraction. All the people are running behind the money. When there is no control in this mechanism, the precious valued money may be misused or its value may be totally corrupt. To protect the value of money as well as to protect or to control the misuse of money, definitely there is a necessity of a particular organization and a system. So in a system, to control the misuse of money, and in the same system to protect the value of money, an organization is necessary, and that organization has become in the modern times the central bank. Actually, in the past, money is minted, issued, protected and controlled by the governments. Later on, when the modern systems were existing, notes or currency was issued and it was given some value by the government, and its control as well as protection was carried on by some banks, usually a central bank. But something around between 1906 and 1913, at this time currency was issued and it was given denomination by governments, whereas the currency was protected and controlled in the system by banks. At that time, that is between 1906 and 1913, Keynes, J.M. Keynes, we also call him as the father of modern economics. J.M. Keynes, the father of modern economics as well as macroeconomics, he insisted that with divided control, it is tough to manage it in a transparent way, and moreover, regulation may not be very good. With divided control, it will be tough to manage the control of the currency as well as it may not be transparent. That is the advice given by J.M. Keynes. Later on, by 1921, with the advice given by J.M. Keynes and other economists, by 1921, gradually one by one, all the modern economies just gave the power of controlling, regulating, issuing and all the monitoring powers to central banks. So, issue of currency and control of currency, regulation of that money supply in the system, everything by 1921 came into the hands of the central banks. But by the time also in India, still the money supply as well as the issue of currency notes was not under the complete control of the central bank. But in 1926, Government of India appointed a commission to look over the issue, Hilton-Young's Commission. Hilton-Young's Commission, and this commission also insisted on to remove the divided control and to just hand over all the powers of regulating the currency in the system to central bank. And where Hilton-Young's Commission insisted that the foundation for the Central Bank of India was laid. So, with the advice given by Hilton-Young Commission, the foundations of Central Bank of India, that is Reserve Bank of India, laid in India. Now, let us look over how it went on. After the advice by Hilton-Young Commission in 1926, the first attempt to create a central bank for India, that is Reserve Bank of India, was attempted in 1927 but was a failed attempt. After complete political convinces and all the discussions were made, in 1934, final decision was taken to establish a central bank for India, that is the Reserve Bank of India, and in 1935, on 1st of the April 1935, RBI was founded. Reserve Bank of India was founded. Reserve Bank of India was founded. Then, until that time, who took over the operations of a central bank? Until that time, it is the Imperial Bank of India. It is the Imperial Bank of India that took over the operations of a central bank until some time before the RBI came into existence. What is this Imperial Bank of India? Actually, in 1770, the Bank of Hindustan was considered as the first Bank of India. In 1770, the Bank of Hindustan, but it is a controversial statement. It was Cook who made the statement that in 1770 the Bank of Hindustan was existed and this was the first Bank of India. But later the researchers considered it as a controversial statement. But even then, the Gazetteer of India for Economics also made the statement that the Bank of Hindustan was the first Bank of India. Then later on, actually in 1806, Presidency Bank of Calcutta, Presidency Bank of Calcutta was established basically to support the treasury system of the then British Indian government. And this Presidency Bank of Calcutta was carrying on with its operations by supporting the traders. Later on in 1840 and after 1843, Presidency Bank of Bombay as well as Presidency Bank of Madras were established. 1840 and 43. Presidency Bank of Bombay and Presidency Bank of Madras. Now there are three banks. 1806 Presidency Bank of Calcutta, 1840 and 43 Presidency Bank of Bombay as well as Madras. Forget about this 1770 the Bank of Hindustan, because no information was available about this Bank of Hindustan. So now at present three banks were in operation. 1806 Presidency Bank of Calcutta, 1840 and 43 Presidency Bank of Bombay and Madras. Unfortunately in 1868 the Presidency Bank of Bombay went into liquidation, but in the same year again it has been revived by the others with the same name. So even though for a small gap in 1868 the Presidency Bank of Bombay went into liquidation, but in the same year with the same name again it was revived. And these three banks, Presidency Bank of Calcutta, Presidency Bank of Bombay as well as Presidency Bank of Madras, have been amalgamated together in 1921 to establish the Imperial Bank of India. 1921 was the year the amalgamation of these three banks took place, and the formation of the Imperial Bank of India was happened in 1921. And this Imperial Bank of India, which carried on the operations of central bank for a while for India, and later when RBI was established, all the key operations were handed over to RBI, and this just remained idle. And this Imperial Bank of India later on has been renamed as the State Bank of India, which is still existing. So this Imperial Bank of India is the present State Bank of India. This has carried on the operations of central bank for a while in the past. And this 1806 Presidency Bank of Calcutta also carried on some key important operations in the past, even issued the currency notes. Of course, later on in between 1840 and 60, it lost its prominence in the form of the power to issue the currency notes was deprived for this bank. But in the beginning it also carried on some key operations. Anyway, this is the history. Right now let us go back to 1935, RBI founded. So now let us go through what are the functions of Reserve Bank of India.